Hello Exiles, Exile Phoenix here with a build guide on the Phrecia lightning arrow using Daughter of Oshabi. It's been a while since my last video, and this was because I've had some medical complications, and it's been a wild ride. But I just didn't want to miss up on this opportunity to give out a better lightning arrow build with leveling guides and a lightning arrow build that I created, and then a transition into tornado shot, because Daughter of Oshabi is a very good ascendancy for all of these lightning arrow and tornado shot builds. So why Daughter of Oshabi? I'll get right into it. They have basically buffed both of the Magi to 80 all elementals if you have equipped helmet with no socket gems. This was from 60, and 40% increased life if you equipped gloves with no socketed gems, and again 30%, so 10% increase. And then the next thing that we need is 3% increase attack damage for 450 evasion rating. Previously it was 2. This gives a lot more damage. And then Woodland Shrine has 50% increased effect of shrine buffs on you. As this is a shrine stacking build, this is very important. And then Innate Blessing, you gain a random shrine buff every 8 seconds, previously 10 seconds. So within the course of a few seconds, you will have 3, even if you die to a boss, which I don't think will happen if you run a map and then go into the boss arena to kill them, because you will be having millions of damage. But even if you do die to a boss, or say you're facing Exarch, right? You just wait out for about 18 to 3 seconds, and then you will have 3 shrines, and then you will be able to kill the boss very easily. I'll go through the POB as well. Now the thing is, I haven't had time to create a Ranger leveling guide, so I will be using Havoc's Ranger leveling guide. As I mentioned, I've been at the hospital and I have had no time to create a range leveling guide, but I've gone through this leveling guide properly, and I think this is one of the best guides out there for everybody. It'll be in the description below. So Havoc has created a massive hand-holding guide. So he's also gone for all of the whatever ascendancies that are there in this game. He's gone for that, and he's gone through all of these ascendancy nodes as well. For example, you can go through it. It's very simple to understand. I will talk about the ascendancy later on, but for now, he's created a passive tree up until level 81. So I will be continuing from level 81 onwards on my POB later on after I go through this. Right. So leveling progression is very easy on Mobilytics site, Maxtroll site. You start with Galvanic Arrow and you get all of these. Well, you don't need all of these. Just Galvanic Arrow, Shrapnel Ballista, Mirage Arch and Momentum Support. Shrapnel Ballista, you don't need Arrow Nova at the beginning. Burning Arrow and Mana Force Arrows, you don't need it. Dash, yes, you get it free. Sniper's Mark, sometimes on bosses. Blink Arrow, you don't need it if you have Dash. So if you have sockets to put all of this in, then that's fine. The next thing is you can click on the plus button to check the next set of gems from level 1 to 12. So again, Galvanic Arrow. And then you click next. From 12, you start using Lightning Arrow. And then you can follow this Frenzy with Mana Force Arrows, Frost Blink, Sniper's Mark, etc., etc. Right? So you can keep doing this until level 81. So 38 onwards, it's the same gems, it doesn't change at all. Right? You can copy these regex and find the items in the trade, the vendors. So that it's very simple. So he's given the entire guide over here. So Act 1, what you have to do, what you have to pick up. Act 2, what you have to do, what you have to pick up. Act 3, Act 4, all the way to Act 10. It's very simple. You just have to read it. And he said what bows are better for the leveling pleasure, you know, how to make it simple. So yeah, copy the regex which is up top, and then it'll show stuff like this, right? So it's very simple. Just go through it. I think nobody else has created a more detailed guide on how to level with ranger with lightning arrow. So this is really, really important, right? So there's a lot of information here, and also there's a video which he completed the campaign in 2 hours and 35 minutes, which is absurd. But if you practice, it'll be good. All right. So a huge shout out to Havoc for creating a great build. All right. So from level 81 to 88 or onwards, I've got 3 notes here. What I have done is I've created my own build. From the it's going straight out from Havoc's one into mine, so it's pretty much the same thing with a few refund points. But before we go into my build, I want to show you this is in Act 2. I'm in Poxkeeper starters, restart league. So I've got a bow, which is nothing, some intelligence, all of which was dropped from while I was doing the campaign. So there's absolutely nothing, just a 3-link here, and shrapnel, ballista, and precision, and then dash. That's all I have. So if I go into Riverways, it's very simple. You attack, things die, Mirage Archer kills the rest if they don't die, and you move on. So it's super simple. This only gets better. It'll get a lot better when you get returning projectiles later on, according to Havoc's build. So it's very simple, right? You just move on. If you want to kill the rest, you just throw the 3 sharpener ballistas, and then you stand there and shoot. Yeah, it's pretty simple. And you pick up everything that you like. The magic items you can pick up and sell them because you need the transmutes. Okay, so let's move on to the my version of lightning arrow. We'll start with the ascendancy. I'll put all of this down here. Okay, the first ascendancy that you have to get is Oath of the Magi. Now this is very important during the campaign because you only need a few gems, like lightning arrow, shrapnel ballista for bosses, herald of ice if you want to get some clear, herald of thunder maybe, dash, etc, etc. So you have a lot of sockets that you don't use, and sometimes say for example, if you don't put any gems into your boat, you get 30 movement speed. So when you get this, it's like you are on a 30 movement speed boat without anything, right? You can just throw a normal boat and then you can run around. And also if you feel like you don't have any resistances on, you can get 80 free of charge if you don't have any gems socketed into your glove, right? So this is the first node, Oath of the Magi, and then the second ascendancy will be trigger level 20 lesser shrine when you kill an enemy, and then 50% increase effect of shrine buffs on you, right? So every time you kill an enemy, you get lesser shrines. These can be turned on in the configuration here, which I have not, because I want you to see the damage increase when you get shrines. Okay. And then the third ascendancy will be gain random shrine buff every 8 seconds. You put that on, and then you will have major shrine buffs. These are lesser, these are major, right? Major ones do a lot more things. So both of these shrine buffs will be increased by the effect of shrine buffs on you, 50% increased. And finally, you get 3% increased attack damage per 450 evasion rating, which will boost up your damage a lot more. Okay. So now this is 81 to 88. there are some minor changes here, like the pathing here has changed, and a few nodes around here. You'll easily be able to figure out what is what from Havoc's leveling guide. We also have spell suppression chance of 99.36, which is more than enough. So when you get to 88, the first thing that you need to do is get a proper bow. Now, how to create a proper bow? Now, this bow is something that I've used for my entire tree. So final with clusters. This is the bow that I've used for the entire tree. So I'll be keeping that, but I'll show you how to create a bow. I'll open up. Okay, so in Craft of Exile, what you do is you get, I'll start from the beginning, import item, sorry, create new item, 200 weapons, bow, and then whatever bow you can find, right? So you can get a 6-link bow by collecting the porcupine into 6 of the porcupine cards, which will give you a 6-link short bow. The short bow has low physical damage but more attack speed. Bow stream, again, 6 of these cards will give you a 6-link Harbinger bow. Harbinger bow has crit multiplier as an implicit, and the Imperial bow, which is 22 cards. So it's a lot of cards, but they drop a lot, and they can be acquired in these areas. So all of these is all the information in PoEDB, which I'll put a link in the description below. Okay, now you select bow. Let's go with Harbinger bow. Yeah, and then select level 81 or something, and then proceed. Okay, next thing you need to do is you need to put in essences. So Hatred Essence if you want to guarantee cold, Wrath Essence if you want to guarantee lightning, Anger Essence if you want to guarantee fire. I'll go with Hatred or whatever is cheaper. So the higher the tier, you get more damage. So T7 is lowest, T1 is the highest. You keep doing this until you get at least 2 modifiers to attacks. So something like this, but the tier on the fire damage is low, so we keep rolling. Okay, something like this we can take. So there's cold damage, there's fire damage, and then the prefix modifier is taken here, so we cannot add lightning. You can choose to keep this, or you can keep rerolling, and then if you have essences to kill, you can keep rerolling and maybe try to find something without a prefix. One prefix modifier, right? Okay, so something like this. Now, if physical damage gets converted into lightning damage. So we can leave it as it is, and then we can go into the bench and then add fire damage to the bench. D2, yeah. So that way you have all 3 damage types. If this was lightning damage, it would have been better, because then we would know that it's completely added and it will be calculated through Trinity. So we use Trinity to get most of our damage up. I put everything on level 19 without quality, and we have a lot of damage even then. So Trinity, it just increases your damage based on the type of damage that you deal. So 25 resonance, it gives you a lot of damage. If you deal fire damage, you get 25 resonance from cold and lightning, and vice versa. So if I take this out, you lose a lot of damage. So I'll keep it at 25. 25 is maximum. And then the next thing you need to do is get the primal arrow quiver, the gull. This is because shrine buffs are your best friend. Higher is higher later on. High-Risk Truth. This is best in slot for an amulet, and Prism View to get more damage to attacks, which helps with Trinity, and also some elemental resistance and also elemental damage during flask effects. You can also use Darkness Enthroned. The damage will be a little bit similar, and then you can add 2 Searching Eye Jewels, but I think Prism View will be cheaper at league start. The Gull would be around 70 to 100 chaos on day 1 and day 2. High-Risk Eye would be around the same for lower roll. So you don't need any sockets on the High-Risk Eye. 1 socket would be enough because we are not putting in any gems into the High-Risk Eye, because we have to make use of defenses from equipped Bodhiyama doubled, because it has a lot of evasion, and evasion gets converted into attack damage. So after all of this, there is one more thing that you need to get. It is the Lionized Fall. So melee and melee weapon type modifiers in radius are transformed to bow modifiers. So all of these claw nodes, they get transformed into bow nodes, and you get a lot of critical damage out of this, right? So this will be about 20 to 70 chaos at league start, which you will be able to find really quickly. I will go on to the next 88 to 94 levels, where I've taken these nodes and some PS, and then the damage goes up to 1 million on the lightning arrow itself with level 19 gems. And we need to, for the High-Risk Truth, we have to allocate Fury Bolts, which is pretty cheap. It's Verdant and Teal, which is pretty cheap. And then the final one would be with clusters. Again, some nodes over here will be taken out and gone with clusters. It increases the damage, like a very minor set of damage. So you can choose not to go for clusters and just swap later out. So the best thing about this build is you get shrines a lot, and all of these shrines are here. So for example, if you get an acceleration shrine, your damage goes up by 1.8 million. If you get brutal shrine, 1.1 million. Diamond shrine, again. So you get a lot of these shrines, right? So sometimes you can get something like this. I'm just going by just clicking, yeah. And then the damage goes up to 3.4 million. Now if you're really lucky, you get Echoing Shrine, Brutal Shrine, and Acceleration Shrine. It goes 13 million, and so on. So the more shrines you have, the more damage you do. And it's very simple. So like I said, if you die to a boss, you just wait out for a few seconds, and then you will have 3 shrines, and then you will be able to kill the boss very easily. Right. We need essences to craft our bow. So for the Atlas tree, after you've completed your acts, this will be the best way to get maps, complete the Atlas tree, and also get your essences. So you start here, you go into Prolific Essence to get more essences, and then you get Jan, so that you can complete that in the process of getting essences. You go all the way up here, get these 3 nodes, Expert Reconnaissance and Expect the Unexpected. All the way up here, Commissioned Officer, and then all the way up here, Shaping the World, right? And then you come down here, go to Shaping the Skies, come down here, Shaping the Mountain, and then you go up here and get these 3 nodes. Do not get this node because the bosses become a little bit rippy, because they get a lot of essences into them, and then it gets hard to kill them. Then you can move up here, get this essence node, get this item quantity and rarity, get all these nodes up here, and select Unwavering Vision so that you get 20 Atlas passive skill points. Then you can come down here, get this node. I've gone up here and then linked to the left side, get Crystal Lattice. Right. Now you have a little bit more because of the 20 passive skill points. So you can spec into anything you like. Maybe Sacred Grove, or maybe wallside areas, maybe additional shrines, which will help you a lot. You can go into strong boxes, which is a bad idea, but you can go into expedition, you can go for abyss, you can go for legion, anything you like. So it's pretty simple. This will be in the description below. And after the lightning arrow, when you're around level 97, we transition into the ice shot. Tornado shot. So tornado shot has evasion based, which will straight away transition from our build from the lightning arrow one. So tornado shot does a lot more damage than lightning arrow. Combined DPS is 4452. This is without shrines. You activate some shrines and it goes up to a lot of damage. I'm still using the same bow. The helmet gets changed, everything else is the same. Dying Sun is not turned on. If you have the money to buy it, you can buy it. Otherwise, there are some cluster jewels that you need to find. Light of Meaning, 7% increase evasion rating. Light of Meaning is very cheap at league start. Well, not very cheap. when you get to level 97, it'll be cheaper than the rest of the Light of Meanings because nobody uses it. And then we still use the Lionized Fall jewel to convert the claw damage into bow damage. Now, once you have enough currency, say about 500 divines, you can transition into the energy shield based tornado shot. Now this is a build that was given by Rutu last Phrecia League, and it is very good. But you need about 500 divines to transition into this because the Light of Meaning here it gets very costly. And he's got some Watcher's Eye and some Forbidden Flame jewels. So you might need a little bit more currency to transition into this. So if you really want to play tornado shot, you can stay on the evasion based one. It's still good. It's still good damage, and you have a good effective hit pool with good life leech. Some power charges on critical hit. I've taken out the awakened ones because you don't need them. Elemental and folk were the awakened ones here. I've taken them out. Return projectile will not work with tornado shot, so we will put in Mirage Archer. Returning projectile, it gets weird with tornado shot, so it's not the best thing out there. So this is the tornado shot, and I was also looking into another build, which is Glacial Hammer Shattering. It's the same. We go with Daughter of Oshabi, and we stack a lot of evasion here. Again, Light of Meaning with evasion. So once you have Light of Meaning, it gets very simple. Glacial Hammer, 6 million damage without the shrines. So if I put in shrines, the main damage ones, it goes up to 50 million damage. So it gets pretty good. This is based on Maelstrom staff, or any staff. We don't need block. We are only going for suppression, spell suppression. But we'll have to get this cheap amulet as well. So it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of damage. So hopefully, if I don't go into tornado shot, I'll be playing this after lightning arrow. But lightning arrow will be the star of the show because it's just great. It's just a lot of damage based on nothing. So the last thing that I want to explain is for why we get a spine bow, because it has a lot of physical damage. It has a lot of critical strike chance, base critical strike chance, And the fractured version, the bow attacks fire an additional arrow it'll be pretty cheap at League Start as well. If it's 2 arrows, then it goes up to 50 divines, but if it's 1 arrow, it gets pretty cheap. So it's safe to use all of this. All of this will be really cheap at League Start, and you do a lot more damage with the shrine. So you also have frenzy charges and power charges, and a lot of leech. So 884 leech per hit, which is really good. Alright guys, every detail about this build will be in the description below with all the POBs that I've shown you. I don't think I'll be playing much for this week. By next week I'll probably get into it, and I'll put out videos based on what I go through. Yep, thank you all for watching. Please follow, subscribe, and like for more.